Can everybody hear me okay? Good. So, my name is Joe Kepley. I'm from a company called Blend Interactive in the U.S. And we're just sort of coming off the end of a very large digitization project. And it kind of gives us an opportunity to give a little bit of a case study and talk a little bit about developing for large projects and how to handle that. So I'll start by giving you a little bit of context around who we are and how our project was put together, what our requirements were. We'll talk a little bit about project management and how to manage projects of this size and client expectations. So maybe a little more boring, but after you eat your vegetables, we'll have some dessert and talk about some interesting code challenges. So, like I said, I'm from Blend. We're a content management developer of about 20 people in Sioux Falls, South Dakota in the US. I always get asked where Sioux Falls is. It's right there in the middle. Anybody, we're in South Dakota, anybody know the famous South Dakota landmark? These guys? Yeah, we stuck that way out in the middle of nowhere, so you have to come and see it. We've been an Easy partner for about 7 years, or at least we've been working with Easy for about 7 years, maybe a partner a little less. We've done a number of projects with it. The project I'm going to talk to you today was for the Christian Science Church in Boston. They're a Protestant church denomination with a very large campus in Boston. And they're probably most famous for the Christian Science Monitor, which is actually a secular newspaper. They switched to an all-digital model for the Monitor, or mostly digital, several years ago, and switched to Easy Publish. And that's actually handled by Peter and Philip and Doug back there from Mugo, who've done an excellent job with that. So excellent, in fact, that the church wanted to switch all of their CMS products over to Easy Publish. And they had a bit of a mess. They had an old Java-based CMS that they uploaded XML files to some servers, and they had a lot of their sites on WordPress MU installed. And it was sort of the situation where if anybody asked for a new section on the website, they just went, sure, here's a blog, and you can do whatever you want with it. And so there was this big mass of commingled WordPress sites. So they knew they had a mess and needed to clean it up. And the most complex side of this was for the Christian Science Publishing Society, which is let me move this down a little bit. That's a branch of the church that handles their publishing operations. Again, probably the most famous periodical they produce is the Monitor, but they also produce actually 3 other periodicals they've been producing longer that are more focused on religious topics. So they have the Christian Science Journal, which is sort of a peer-reviewed religious journal. It's a monthly publication. It's been around since 1883. The Sentinel, which is a weekly publication, has been around since 1898. And then they have the Christian Science Herald that's produced in 14 languages, 4 of which are sort of monthly publications. German is one. And they started in about 1903. So they had a lot of content and a lot of magazine issues going out. And if we back off and look at the magazine industry as a whole, over the past few years, the situation is not great for magazine publishers. This is not the church's data, but this is self-reported data for the MPA. And this graph's exaggerated a little bit, but you know, we can see over the past few years, magazine subscription sales have been really on the decline. So publishers are looking for ways to drive extra revenue other than just print subscription. And of course, a lot of them do online ad sales, other things. But there's been a pretty big focus on back archives as well. And the iPad is probably one of the drivers that's really killing magazine sales, because now I have a computer I can hold in my hand and read magazine content off of. So that hurts subscription sales, but it actually may help in terms of selling back issues. Adweek had a story that tablets are actually helping publishers sell more of their back issues. Rolling Stone completed a project a few years ago where they actually scanned their entire back archive and made it available online through a Flipbook sort of Silverlight application. And in the case of these religious periodicals that we're dealing with, we have an extra advantage because the founder of the Christian Science Church, a woman by the name of Mary Baker Eddy, was actually alive until 1906, and so wrote a lot of the early content in these original periodicals. So that actually makes them more valuable, so readers are more interested in them because it's a perspective that they can't really get anymore. So this was the project that the church brought to us. They wanted to bring online every periodical, or sorry, every article ever published in any of the periodicals, and do it not just as a scan, but do it as a full article. So select, copy, paste, the whole 9 yards. They wanted to have a business model put together so that they were allowing people to subscribe for access to this content, but they have certain pieces of content they want to make available for free with every issue. And they want to be able to have people share the content. So if I'm a subscriber and I share an article with you, you can read it even though you're not a subscriber. That's a really valuable use case to them because their readers take a lot of value in being able to give this content to their friends and have them use it. And it also provides another avenue for social sharing. And one of the other pieces is we needed a deep search functionality. So in addition to just sort of casual search, they have a lot of people who are doing study archivists who are looking at this content and examining the history of the church. So they needed a lot of search functionality to be able to enable that sort of behavior. And in essence, what this boiled down to is that we're going to pretend the website launched in 1883 and has been loaded with content ever since. So we have a lot of content to gather. Here's where it is. Just start grabbing. This is a picture of the church's archive, or one of the shelves of it, and there's many shelves of these books in sort of various conditions. Fortunately, there were multiple copies of them. So the methodology went like this. These copies were destructively scanned in OCR. By that I mean they cut the spines off and fed them through a sheet feeder. And we got scans of every page. Each of those pages was then sent over to a firm that specializes in this sort of tagging, and they actually converted all of these to XML and tagged them as articles. We use a standard called Prism, which is a Atom-based XML format that is built specially for a magazine article content. So it has fields like, what's your title, what's your deck, what's your inset image, and a lot of these sort of magazine terms, but it's based on Atom. So we import that into Easy Publish. We did that through the XML input handlers, and then we also mirrored that on the scan side. So for these subscribers, you can either read the article as XML or you can view the original scan in a Canvas viewer. So to provide the value that it was going to take to really justify this extra subscription cost for their subscribers, we had to add quite a few features, and here's a few of them. For any issue of the magazine, readers are able to download either color PDFs or EPUBs that are generated by Easy Publish. And we also generate a print-friendly PDF, so they have a lot of readers in sub-Saharan Africa, where it's very costly and difficult to try and ship magazine issues. So rather than do that, we make these print-optimized versions of the issues that, that can be fed through a standard printer. As I said, we also have the view and print mode, so we can view with an online reader any article within its issue, all the way back to 18 whatever. And then since we were coding these in XML, we had some extensions to the Prism standard whereby we're able to take any reference to the Bible or some of the church manuals, and they actually have an online repository of these that's sort of a searchable research tool, and we can bring that up in a little window there and make that immediately available. So the net result was that there were articles that were published in 1903 that have links in them, which is kind of crazy. And then finally, we've got a very deep integration with solar via EasyFind. We have killed and used every part of EasyFind, as the Native Americans would say, and a lot of different ways to search and slice and dice the content. This was an interesting corpus of data to work on because it's about one topic, essentially. So that presented some challenges with how you tune the algorithm to get good results. And it's also the first time I've ever had to faucet articles by what century they're in. So for a project of this size, this started about in 2010, project management is a critical piece. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about the methods that Blend has built up to do project management. And just sort of show of hands, let's do a little marketing survey here. How many of you work at a company with 1 to 10 employees? Okay, how about 10 to 50? Okay, and over 50. Okay, so it's a pretty good mix. That question depends a lot on how you're going to manage projects and probably how much process your company has in place, and we'll talk through that. So Blend, we started out, most of us were from the financial services industry, where waterfall methodology reigns supreme in project management. So we gather a bunch of requirements for about a month, and then we lock them. And then we do a bunch of estimates for a couple weeks, and then those are locked down. And then we do a bunch of development, and then some months later we launch what we developed, and now we get to gather requirements again because everything was locked down and things change, and that doesn't work. So when we started our own company, we went, we're not doing any of this garbage anymore. I don't want to work this way, so we're going to have very light process. We're almost no process. And then after a couple projects, we realized, oh crap, some of that stuff's really useful. Let's go back and get the useful pieces out. And so our project management methodology has been focused around basically